In today's video, video number 9, we are going to learn about the random sampling. In the previous video, we learned about census and the sampling methods. Today we are going to learn the types of sampling, and the first one being the random sampling. Random sampling, as the name tells, at random. That means sampling which is done without any rule. This is also called probability sampling, because in this type of random sampling, every item has an equal chance of being selected, and hence there is no discrimination in the choice. The first of the random sampling is the lottery method. This is the simplest method of selecting a random sampling, in which any one of them has an equal chance of being selected. The examples being allotment of houses or selection of a topic for a group discussion. Now, one of the methods we generally follow is, picking up a chit from a bowl. Say a number of chits are made, and here any of the chits can be selected at random. So equal chance lies with the selection of these chits. Just blindfold and you know what to do. 1, 2 and 3 if you want to select 3 people from a group of 15. So this is one called lottery method. The next one is the random number table. For example, a Tippett's table or a Fisher and Yeats table. How is this used? This is a Tippett's table in which there are some numbers arranged, some 24 numbers are given, and from these numbers you have to select any of them to make a sample. So this is a Tippett's table. Other tables are the Fisher and Yeats table, etc. One of the most common examples that can be given is the exit polls. A random sample of voters is selected who exit the polling booths after casting their votes. And from the data of the sample of voters, prediction is made. However, there is no hard and fast rule that the prediction is going to be correct. Now we have the restricted random sampling. Till now we discussed only random sampling, in which each item had an equal chance of being selected. But here we have restricted random sampling. That means the sample is restricted, wherein the choice of the sample will be heterogeneous population and the representation, that is not possible. Why? Because we always look for a sample that is homogeneous. And so we are going to study a few under restricted random sampling. The first one being stratified random sampling. Stratified means that the population is divided into strata or groups, and each group will have a certain number of people. Then a certain number is taken from each group. Now suppose this is the whole population. It is divided into 5 equal parts, let's say, and from each part a few items are selected, and that is what forms a sample. So each group has some people that are selected to form the sample. Now the next one is systematic sampling. Under this method, out of the complete list of available population, the sample is selected by taking every nth item from the list. Let us say, for example, every 5th item will be selected, or every 10th item is selected. Likewise, so that is a systematic sampling. So we have a certain rule by which we can select a sampling. In order to obtain a reliable and accurate result, it is necessary that a list is arranged wholly at random. Okay, now this has got an advantage that it takes a very less time and also the results are very satisfactory. However, the results sometimes can be biased because if the item that we are choosing is favorable. However, if the population is too large, then also this type of systematic sampling is not possible. The next one is cluster sampling, in which the population is divided into clusters or divisions. Then a few or a given number of clusters are chosen. Suppose you make some 10 clusters. Of the 10 clusters, you need only 4 clusters. So the choice is ours, which cluster we are going to select. So here also there is some bias involved. The number of sampling units in each cluster also should be approximately the same. That is the care that we must take. Then the next one is the multi-stage sampling. Here clustering in multi-stages is done. Already we learnt about the cluster sample, that is small clusters of the population is made. Here the clusters are selected, but from those clusters again we make smaller ones, that is stage by stage we select for a given sample. That means, let us take this example that under this sampling a few towns are selected. From each town a few households are selected, and from a few households some number of individuals are selected. So selection of towns is stage 1. Of the towns, some households forms the second stage, and then selection of certain individuals that form a sample forms the third stage. Coming to the non-random sampling. The non-random sampling depends on the judgment of the investigator than chance. So random sampling was one in which each item had an equal chance of being selected. Here it is non-random. That means it is based on the judgment of the investigator. Hence, this method is not a scientific one. Hence, laws of statistics cannot be used to analyze it. Now, there are 3 methods that we are going to learn in our 11th class. The first one being the judgment sampling. The name itself tells judgment. So, the investigator is going to judge which sample is he going to choose for his statistical enquiry. So, here the selection is deliberate. For example, the opinion poll. It is also based on the idea of the investigator, and hence he draws the sample such that it becomes a representative of the population. The chance of some of the items to be included is very high, while that of the others is very low. So in our classroom also we can say if we want to select some 5 students from your class who is good in mathematics. So your teacher knows that A, C, D, P, Q and R are good at mathematics. So they will be selected. So that depends on the judgment of the teacher to select the number of students to form a sample. The next one is the quota sampling. Here the number of items from each subgroup is limited or fixed. That is what is meant by quota. Quota means limit. Now you must have heard about the PDS system, the public distribution system, in which each family has a quota. That is, some kgs of rice, some kgs of sugar is limited per head or per family. So this is a quota. Again here the selection depends on personal judgment of the investigator. So what is he going to select as a sample? For example, the TV review. If we take, then he might like to have a sample that consists of 60% of housewives, 20% of students, 15% of employees and 5% of children. Similarly, in our school also, we can have a quota. Let us say that I need to have some 12 students from class 11 and 6 students from class 12 to form a group. for a particular purpose. So that is quota sampling. That means the number of the items in the group is fixed or limited. Then the last one is convenience sampling. The name itself tells the convenience of the investigator in choosing a sample. So according to the investigator's convenience, also called chunk, here the units of the sample are easily located and contacted by the investigators. Then it is also less expensive and less time consuming. However, it has a demerit like personal prejudice. Convenience samples are prone to bias by their nature, and also the results are found to be unsatisfactory and misleading.